I've always been a unique person, you know what I mean? Sort of laid back in a way, but very adamant and very passionate about what I believe. I think a lot of times that sort of throws people off because they don't expect me to have the mindset or the process of thought that I do. And so when you come in to watch my channel, you may hear a myriad of thoughts and ideas that could be different from others. What I want you to do is just sit back, like, share, and subscribe. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping you along the way, helping you to make it through another day. Yeah, everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. I got perspective.
Well, hello and good afternoon to every single one of you. Today we are looking at the question, where's the water? I want you to see this right here because a lot of us who've gone to school, or maybe even those of us who maybe just brushed against this topic, understand that with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are a few things that we simply have to have. We simply have to have. So I want to show you the correlation between what's been going on over the past several years, to include the last 2 years, as well as where we're headed. Maslow's hierarchy of needs tells us that we need each one of these levels to be very solid until we get to the top, which is self-actualization. What has been going on most recently is everything on the bottom level has been attempted to be eroded. Everything. It just looks like they're munching and munching and munching at it. All the way up to the top. So if you don't have your physiological needs met, your breathing, your food, your water, the physical needs that you have, sleep, and all of those things, you're not going to have anything else on top of that. Your safety comes after that. Your love and belonging is after that. Your self-esteem can only be had if you're solid under everything else. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's not true. I've got self-esteem and I don't have all of that stuff. Well, then I suggest you step back a couple of steps and look at it again, because this is what is being attacked. What actually makes you who you are? And you see, I think it's safe for us to put this up so that the message gets out there to everybody, because some would say, well, I'm a Buddhist, or I'm a Hindu, I believe in Jesus, or I believe in God, or I believe in this, or I believe in that. A lot of people say they believe a lot of stuff, but this right here is something that is a principle that the Creator himself put in place. All of these things are needed. And I submit that when any one of these are out of whack or out of order, then you've got a problem. So today we're looking at the question, where is the water? Here in the United States, some of the wonderful people in our chat put some things here before we got started. Somebody mentioned Nestle, taking all the water. Charlie Sigler, I want to thank you so much. I don't know if I can thank you publicly, but I'm going to, if that's okay with you. I want to thank you. I went in my mailbox and I found something beautiful. And so I just want to tell you, thank you for thinking of me. All monetary gifts are welcome, but when you do something like that, it's just kind. And I truly appreciate it. It was a kind thing you did. Thank you. So I want to say to you guys that when we consider the fact that somebody can say, yeah, Nestle did this and this person did that and this company did this and this person took all the water from over here, that shows you that water is very important. Our air has been attacked. The food, which is down at the bottom in the physiological needs, has been under attack. Every single thing that you can think of that's on this chart, ironically, has been under attack. And so we are looking at the question of water, but look down here. Water is a necessity. Breathing, they've already messed with that. Food, that's been done. Water, this has even been messed with, and I don't want to say that word aloud. Isn't that weird? I'm a grandmother with 4 children, and yet I can't say this word aloud. But the truth about the matter is this is why they're attacking it. So let's just get right into it. I want to first take us over to where we're already running out of water, is what is being said here on abc4.com. We're already running out of water, it says. Okay. Now let's see if you guys can see this. All right. All right. We're already running out of water. So it says in Utah, ABC4, with reservoir supplies dwindling, unprecedented heat waves, and drier than average winter, it's no secret that Utah is feeling the effects of our current drought. A recent study that was heavily documented by local and national news outlets alike suggests that this dry spell is in fact the worst in at least, get this, 1,200 years. 1,200 years. I'm going to let you guys see this because I don't want you to think I'm tripping or making this up. 1,200 years, they're saying. All right? Right there, it says that this is the worst in at least 1,200 years. And in Utah, where our highest desert climate isn't conducive to bountiful water resources in the first place, an increasing population is poised to put even more strain on this infinite resource or this finite resource. But what is the reality of our water situation? In interest of not mincing words, experts say it's getting quite dire. Quote, I spent a lot of time worrying, frankly, and being concerned about our current situation, says Kelly Kopp, a water conservation specialist and professor at Utah State University. Kelly continues with, we should have been thinking about this more carefully decades ago. And indeed, as of press time, the majority of Utah is classified as being in a severe drought category, with about 33% of the state in extreme drought. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, Utah's current dry spell, which began in 2020, has been the most intense in the state's history. While a particularly wet December gave Utahns a beacon of hope after plenty snowfall resulted from in a downgrading of the entirety of the state from the exceptional drought category, the roller coaster ride continued with a relatively dry January and February. This made relying on snowpack as a drought-ending silver bullet seemed more and more like a pipe dream. Now, when was the date of this story? February the 22nd, 2022. They're talking about a drought, but some would say, okay, well, that's just one place. Well, it goes a little further because we're going to look here at the Wall Street Journal that did a story on the water, and the Wall Street Journal has been pretty bold. They've been following it for a minute. Several other outlets, but the Wall Street Journal has really been on point. And I want you to see that. Wall Street Journal showed this in 2021 as well. We've even got stories. Let's see, I decided to do this a few days ago. And as soon as I decided to do it, all of a sudden I started seeing more recent studies, more recent conversations. All right. Now, this was done by the Wall Street Journal in 2021. Severe drought could threaten the power supply in the West for years to come. The power supply. The power supply. Now, we all know that the Hoover Dam is one of the major generators of power. And again, if we look back at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that is something that you have to have. In this setting, you must have power. We're not living in the bush. We have to have it. So they're attempting to get rid of a couple of things with one swack. I'm going to play this video for you, okay? This video is being used specifically for context and informational purposes with no copyright infringement intended.
Signs of the drought in
Can
the
you guys
western
hear
United
this? Let me
States
double
are
check.
everywhere, from the dry riverbeds to the depleted reservoirs, canals, and fallow fields. And western farmers are hurting.
This is a fallow field where there's not enough water to plant. No water, so that's the rice dying.
Right now, the U.S. is in year 2 of a drought that encompasses almost the entirety of the American West. And though dry periods are part of a natural water cycle in the West, climate scientists are noticing changes that are making it easier for the region to fall into drought.
Thank you,
This is
Robert.
causing farmers to go to greater lengths to access their water, which can create a ripple effect in neighboring rural communities. Water moves in the West in the same cycle as the rest of the world. First, precipitation falls, then the water seeps into the ground or becomes runoff that flows into rivers and streams. It's either sucked up by plants or humans or evaporates back into the atmosphere, starting the process all over again. But what's unique about the West is where and how the precipitation falls. Experts say it often comes in the form of a few big storms, traversing the region and falling as snow in the mountains, like in the Rockies or California Sierra Nevada. The snowpack it creates serves as a natural storage, saving water until the spring and summer when it thaws, feeding the rivers and reservoirs that serve lower-lying farms and cities.
Some of these extreme rain events can really make or break drought conditions for a given winter.
Climate scientist Samantha Stevenson says some causes of a drought can occur at 2 points in the water cycle. The first is more precipitation falling as rain instead of snow.
If you're getting the same amount of moisture added to the land surface, but more of that is ending up falling as rain, then it's going to just run off into the river very quickly and be further downstream or maybe even out of the area where you need it by the time summer comes around.
The second reason is increased evaporation from the land, rivers, and lakes, making everything very dry.
Like we've all seen this during dry summers, right? You water your lawn and then it disappears within a couple hours. And it's the same thing, but on a larger scale.
Experts say higher temperatures have led to both occurring this year, resulting in the current drought being so severe and so widespread. They caution it might be a sign of similar droughts to come.
What we can say is that we expect that these temperature-driven trends are going to cause droughts to, in general, become larger.
Right now, the drought is very large and very dry. Snowpack levels in California have dropped to 4% of normal this year, and many of the West's largest reservoirs have sunk below half of their capacities. The effects are most acutely felt by farms in nearby communities, where over 90% of the water goes in many western states. California accounts for a quarter of all food grown in the U.S., including 40% of fruits, nuts, and other table foods. That's because they can thrive in the region's semi-arid climate. The water is put to good use, says Doug Parker, the director of the California Institute for Water Resources.
So the dry season is sort of a curse because we don't have water during that season. But then again, it's a blessing because it's the only way we could actually grow some of those kinds of crops.
Jamie Trainum and her husband manage over 1,200 acres of farmland in Colusa County.
My husband and I have been farming for 27 years. We farm about 1,100 acres of rice, right around 200 acres of walnuts, 60 acres of row crop, and then we run 250 head of mother cows. We ended up having to fallow right around 500 acres of rice. We didn't have much choice. There's nothing. It's just dirt and some, dry weeds, basically. If there's not water for it, you can't grow it.
Most of Trainum's water originates 120 miles away in Shasta Lake and makes its way to her farm via a series of canals and pipelines. But the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, which manages much of this infrastructure and provides 1/5 of Western farmers with irrigation water, has cut the water allocations for many to zero this year.
When there's less water, you spend 10 times more of your own time dealing with paperwork, calculations, and managing what little water you have. It's very, very stressful and nerve-wracking because it's like putting a puzzle together when you don't even know what all the pieces are.
During the 2014-2015 drought, total farm-related losses in California totaled $5 billion, and 20,000 farmhands lost their jobs.
Imagine if you have to basically cut back 20% of your acreage, that's like taking a 20% pay cut. to somebody who works in a regular job, right? So it is painful for those farmers.
Experts say the region's agricultural sector is resilient, and it's too early to tell what effects this drought will have on food supplies and prices. With limited options, Trainum has turned to pumping groundwater to make ends meet.
Right now, in the rice that we do have, we really don't have any other source of water but our well water. If you don't have a well and you're relying on surface water, years like this prove the point that you better rethink what you're planting, or you better have a backup plan.
But groundwater isn't as easily replenished as surface water, and there are concerns that California farms run the risk of overdrawing, causing wells to run dry.
We don't have a good system where we regulate that groundwater. And so we tend to have a system where we draw more and we put back less. And as anybody knows, you can't continually take money out of your bank account if you never put something back in.
Nearby rural communities also rely on this groundwater for their homes. During the last drought, hundreds of California households, many in the Central Valley, reported water shortages. There are other consequences as well. Overpumping has been linked to increased levels of arsenic in parts of the Central Valley's groundwater. It also can cause changes in land subsidence, meaning the ground can sink, potentially damaging roads, homes, and bridges.
I'm concerned about the use of the well water, just like everybody is. Nobody wants their well to go dry. Nobody wants subsidence. We suffer and feel it first, but that doesn't make it any less of a struggle to somebody living in a city where their well goes dry and they have no drinking water.
During the last drought, California passed laws to better manage groundwater usage.
We're in the early parts of figuring out how to do that management of it. We really don't have all those mechanisms in place yet. So I expect us to overuse groundwater by quite a bit during this drought.
Experts expect the drought will continue to worsen into the summer and early fall as temperatures rise even more, which could cause a tighter squeeze on resources and tougher decisions to be made about how the West gets its water.
Okay, so we saw that little 6-minute video with regards to the water, and that does come from the Wall Street Journal. It is listed down below inside of the production notes, and again was only used specifically for context as well, for us to have a conversation about the fact that that particular area is responsible for a huge chunk of water, huge. And as they've explained to you there in the video. But in tandem with that, some would say, well, that's just the United States and it's sad and it's terrible. But here's the deal. We also know that across the world, and I'm showing you how from here to the other side of the world, as well as in between, all of the water is being shortened. There are areas that have been in drought for the longest time. And so when you consider everything else that we're dealing with right now, you have to look at the fact that the water, even as far as Egypt, is being affected. Sure, we have to look at that. Excuse me. Sure, we do. Egypt sees Ethiopian dam as risk to water supply, threatens dire action. Well, they're talking about the particular dam. However, this whole entire region, and this was as far back as 2013, this whole entire region right now is in trouble. That was 2013. The whole entire region is in trouble. And the way that we're going to really hone in on that is I want us to look at, we have a tab for UNICEF. Let me pull that UNICEF tab up. This is it right here. Let me get you this tab, and I'm going to take it here. All right, let's take you to UNICEF, because you got to see this. Even though they were speaking specifically of them having an issue, thinking that it was going to cause them a problem, Egypt is in trouble. And some would say, well, that's Egypt. Well, in 2021, UNICEF report shows that climate and environmental hazards have devastating impacts on the well-being of children globally, with 920 million children, over one-third of the children globally are currently highly exposed to water scarcity. In Egypt, the issue of water scarcity is taken very seriously as a major challenge now and for the years to come. Egypt is facing an annual water deficit of around 7 billion cubic meters. That is huge. Meters, excuse me. And the country could run out of water by 2025. It's 2022 and halfway through 2022 at that. When it is estimated that 1.8 billion people worldwide will live in absolute water scarcity. When? By 2025. How do they know? And climate change is a key part of the problem. Really? Okay. Well, we don't have that long together today, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut straight to the chase. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to cut straight to the chase, because we only have 30 minutes together, because I don't want to have your whole lunch hour stretched out. But they're so sure that 1.8 billion people worldwide will live in absolute water scarcity. And climate change is a key part of the problem. Children are more vulnerable and less able to withstand shocks, such as droughts and heat waves. They are also physiologically more vulnerable to toxic substances, lead and other forms of pollution that can be found in untreated water. And untreated water affects children more than adults. Really? Okay. It does. And yet they're concerned. They're very concerned. They're very concerned. This is from UNICEF's website, and everything that we're using is used because, well, it's public. Okay? But there's also water shortages there in India. There is also huge water shortages in India, huge water shortages throughout the United States. All of these things go right back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, did you know that using the cell phone, the very same cell phone that you have right now, depletes your body of a lot of water? Depletes your body of a lot of its natural water, especially the water that's in the brain area. Did you know that? Do you know how vital, of course you do, water is for your everyday existence? It's very important. But here is the rub. This is the part that I want you to see, and how I know that it is all a part of the game. This is how I know it's all a part of the game, because of this. Right here. Weather modification weapons, DARPA project's Nimbus lightning weapons. In Greek mythology, it was a weapon of war. Now the United States military is looking to tame lightning, which remains one of nature's most confounding and feared phenomena. But what is the key, Felicia? Right here. That is the key. For all of the places that have the drought, for all of the places that have no water, for all of the places that we're running around trying to help get water, we're digging down inside of different places and we're pulling up water for communities. We're going in and saying that we're helping with the water. Meanwhile, Nestle is using the very same water from different parts of the world to sell. So we're selling a natural resource, something that should be available to everyone naturally. We're going into areas, meanwhile asking for help to fund the people in those communities. We're asking people to give money to these organizations to go in to give these people water, when all you had to do if you wanted to help them was to start the well and get out of their country. Was to allow the water to roll the way that it should. See, a lot of the stories that are down below inside of the production notes for your leisure, a lot of the stories tell you, okay? A lot of the stories let you know that there are some areas where some people are preventing water from flowing because of an argument, or because this country doesn't like that country, or this one's upset with that one, or this one needs this permission to go through. There was one story that is literally down in the production that is literally telling you about the fact that they added in to allow the water to flow, but that was several years ago and the water's not started to flow yet. These are man-made issues. As you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you understand that this particular deal is something to get you to submit. And the state of submission, you will then ask, where's the water? And they'll give you the answer. And when the answer is given to you, you're really going to shake your head, because you're going to think to yourself, well, no, I don't want it that bad, but I do need it. I don't want it that bad, but I do need it. Everything is given to request for submission. Every issue is given and requests for your submission. But is it a request or is it a demand? Is it a demand? It would have to be a demand because you're really left between a rock and a hard place. So this is going to be what is now undercurrents and what is now, let me tell you something. When it gets over here to this company, when it gets to this company, you already know what's next. This is a hot summer. It's a hot summer. We had a cold winter, right? That's what we're saying. Now it's a hot summer. Climate change is drying up the biggest reservoir in the United States. When did the story come out? May 7th at 11:35. The two largest wet reservoirs in California are already at critically low levels, and the dry season is just starting. Against the backdrop of the water crisis in the Colorado River Basin, where the country's largest reservoirs are plunging at an alarming rate, California's two largest reservoirs, Shasta Lake and Lake Oroville, are facing a similar struggle. Years of low rainfall and snowpack and more intense heat waves have fed directly into the state's multi-year unrelenting drought conditions, rapidly draining statewide reservoirs. And according to this week's report from the U.S. Drought Monitor, the two major reservoirs are at critically low levels at the point of the year when they should be the highest. This week, Shasta Lake is only at 40% of its total capacity, the lowest it's ever been at the start of May since the record-keeping began in 1977. Meanwhile, further south, you can't make this up. I'm telling you, it's Malcolm in the middle. You're meeting in the middle. There'll be nowhere to run. Meanwhile, further south, Lake Oroville is at 55% of its capacity, which is 70% of where it should be, around this time on average. Shasta Lake is the largest reservoir in the state and the cornerstone of California's Central Valley Project, a complex water system made of 19 dams and reservoirs, as well as more than 500 miles of canals, stretching from Redding to the north, all the way south to the drought-stricken landscapes of Bakersfield. And how many know what Bakersfield was really well known for a long time ago? I mean, it's got a few, there's a lot of stuff that comes out of there as far as fruits and vegetables, all right? But look at that. Do you see the recession? Do you see each one of these recede lines? Look at how low it is now. These are all recession lines. Okay? This is the dried up reservoir that's shutting down this power plant. Two birds, one stone, Maslow. Two birds, one stone, Maslow. Two birds with one stone. That's the United States. We just looked at Egypt. So let's play it. This again is used specifically for informational purposes, and there's no copyright infringement intended, and there is down below, the link is down below. I don't want to listen to Itsy. I made a comment just recently as this commercial plays that we really are not in for what's about to happen. And I hope that people are really honestly focusing in on the fact that, yes, there's a lot of other things that are going on around us that we could focus on, but please get your food, please get your water, please get the things that you need to get and bless it. Pray over it. I don't care what nobody says. This reservoir in California is so low that its hydroelectric power plant is now in trouble. Lake Oroville is at its lowest in record. Look at that. Look where it was in 2011. Now look at it in 2021. Almost the entire western U.S. is in drought, according to the government experts. Look at those ships. Look at the boats. It will be the first time that the power plant has been shut off since It opened in 1967, and the plant was already operating at 20% because of the water levels. At full capacity, the Edward Hyatt power plant can power up to 800,000 homes, and the shutoff is happening as heat waves drives up the demand for electricity in the state. You see that? This is all ready to get you got. It is all ready to get you got. So what do you got to do? You got to take all this stuff. Look at that. Look at that. Something so simple as Maslow's hierarchy of needs just cuts the bell on. It just rings the bell, turns on the light. It turns on the light. Okay? It turns the light on for us. And that's what we need to do. You see, we started talking low level about all of the food issues. And then we moved in from the food issues, and there was also a couple of stories that were peppered into the food issues with recalls regarding medications, whole companies. I cannot believe this. That's the reason why I keep mentioning the fact that there were food companies and, pharmaceutical companies that stopped the whole thing. None of their items, all the way down to the cotton balls, I say. Okay? But we're looking at all of this stuff. Yes, Lake Mead is there. They are finding dead bodies. Joy Trujillo is absolutely correct. Yes. All of the links are down below inside of the production notes. I want you guys to go through them at your leisure and look through them. Okay? You see? True Helper, you hit the nail on the proverbial head. Do you guys see what True Helper just said? We have the science, power, and ability to send people into quote-unquote space. That's what I'm going to say. But can't find sustainable energy sources? It's not like Tesla wasn't working on back in the 1800s. That's right, in the 1900s. Listen, there's also a story for those of you who are Patreons. You'll have to use the Patreon list that's in this actual this home screen. Use that one because I'm going to talk about energy, and I'm going to talk about some things that my assistant has put together and sent to me. Okay? And I'm going to tell you that it disturbed me, but it needs to be shared. But it can't be shared here. It disturbed me when you consider energy and you consider what they're doing. Okay? All right. Hey, Mrs. Doubtfire. You don't know where the water is? Okay? David Bentley, True Helper, Rage Against the Machine, Robert M. Stahl, Rachel, I want to thank you. Okay? There's more people up at the top, too, that I've got to thank. And so this is what I want you guys to understand. I want you to understand that we have to be ahead of the game. When we understand exactly what we're dealing with, because the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, as to the pulling down of strongholds, we got to get ahead of the game. We got to quit playing. We got to get ahead of the game. And so just by looking at something as simplistic as Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we're able to see what just might go next. So you got to do what you need to do to take care of you and yours and make sure that you're getting the things that you need. Okay? Making sure that you take care of your family and get the things that you need to get. These things are vital. These are vital. These are vital. Okay? And whenever we know that they have the control through DARPA, then we know that if for nothing else, if they say, oh, well, listen, there's no water over here, there's no water over there, and at the same time you say that you have a weather modification that you can use as a weapon, but you don't do anything, it shows me that you're the problem. It shows me that you're the one. You're the one. You're the one. Yeah, you're the one. You can do all this, but you can't make no rain, and you got the ability to. I'm not saying you're God. I'm not saying that at all. Please, nobody, don't get it twisted. What I'm saying is, because they have the ability and there is a water shortage, it would tell you that somebody doesn't want to fix it. Please understand what I'm saying. Okay? That's what I'm saying. You have the power to fix it. You have the power to do it. But you don't. Tells me you're part of the problem. That's what it tells me, that you're a part of the issue. Okay? All right? So the water is in their power, it's within their scope to do. And yet we are sending more and more and more and more, and we're spending more and more and more. But that's neither here nor there. The fact that they're spending the way that they're spending is of no consequence. The fact that they are doing with it is of no consequence. These things should not query us. We should not have any thought process that tells us anything other than it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. The water, if you guys remember, several years ago, there were large amounts of water that was just missing. Back in 2016, 2015, you could see big pictures of water. They were showing videos where the water was gone. It was just gone. Okay? Nobody knew where the water was. Big old, just gigantic lakes, gone. You would see parts of the water move, and then they would show another video where the water came back. Where did the water go? What happened? Really quickly, I'll read this to you. There's a water crisis, obviously, in India. And at the time of independence, the water availability in India was around 5,000 cubic meters per capita per annum, which was higher than required. This availability has gone down in the subsequent decades. Presently, India is facing a water crisis in many parts of the country, as the water availability is even below the global average, e.g. below 1,700 cubic meters per capita per annum. The average rainfall received in India is around 1,170 millimeters, which results in an annual precipitation of about 4,000 BCMs. 4,000 billion cubic meters. That's how it's written. I'm going to let you see this. Okay? I'm going to let you see what's here so you can see it yourself. All right? Right there. Let's make it bigger. You guys are so awesome. I love you guys. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll read some of the comments and you're like, hey, that's actually a Roman numeral 1. Or hey, that's this. I appreciate you. So look here. It's right here. Right there. So you know I'm not tripping. This situation changes as per the variation in rainfall every year. After evaporation, the county is left with an average annual water availability of below 1,700. According to the Composite Water Management Index, a document released by the NITI in 2018, major cities, Delhi, Bengaluru, and Chennai, as well as Hyderabad, and others are facing or racing to reach zero ground levels, and this was by 2022. So what's going on with them now? 2020, I should say. This was supposed to happen by 2020, and it's 2022. So what happened? Affecting access of 100 million people. About 12% of India's population is already living the day zero scenario. And then they give you another projection that as per the NITI, the report by 2030, India's water demand is going to be doubled from the available source. This is indicating a severe water scarcity situation for hundreds of millions of people in the years to come, and eventually 6% loss of the country's GDP. Do you see that? So it's not just there. The whole idea of turning everything into one world is to have one world issue, so you have one world Superman. Aha. I'm going to say that again. The purpose for having one world scenarios and one world issues and one world calamity is a one world Superman. Aha. Y'all hear me? Okay? Because then when you get him to come on the scene, now you'll have a really nice period of, see, it's a good thing we let him do it. See? It's a wonderful thing he did it. And then, bang zoom to the moon, Alice. So that is the purpose of seeing the water issues all over the place. Everybody's wondering, why this? Why is that? Why is this? It's got to be bad, and it's got to be bad worldwide. It's got to be sick, and it's got to be something making you sick worldwide. It's got to be an issue, but it's got to be worldwide. It has to be worldwide because there has to be one Superman. One Superman for you to believe in. Huh? Yeah. That's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to be. There you go, Joy. There you go, Rachel. All right? You see? So that's the reason for all of the issues. In order for them to usher this cat in, there has to be a worldwide need for his cape. He's not going to take off he's not going to leave where he is, throw on his cape, and travel unless the world needs him. Okay? All right? Think about that. When you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and when we consider that, and then when we consider everything that's already been under attack, we have to know what's next. We can tell what's next. We can tell. So you got to study your enemy. When you start studying your enemy, then you understand which direction they're going. Then you understand how to pray. Then you understand how to intercede. Because that's what we're here in this earth realm for. That's what we're here for. If we want to know what we're here for, that's what we're here for. For those of you who believe. For those of you who do not, I understand. No problem. We got this. I'm not mad. I love everybody. I don't care what you believe in. Long as you don't come to hurt my kids and long as you're not trying to hurt me, I'm cool. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but I'm letting you know right now that your physiological needs, all of this right here, everything you see here has all been attacked. All of the second level safety has been attacked. Love and belonging, friendship, don't stand so close to me. Don't stand so close to me. Please don't stand so close to me. Okay? And in your self-esteem. Women won't date me because everybody's telling women that I'm a bad guy, the guys are saying. Everybody is telling women not to date. So now you got men with low self-esteem. Now you've got women that are having more esteem than they ought. All right? This is what's under attack. It's the basic you. And isn't it ironic that it's a triangle? Isn't it amazing that it's a triangle? Yeah. Because up here, if they got all of this under control, if they have your physiological, your safety, your love and belonging, your esteem, your self-actualization belongs to them. Why? Because morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, acceptance, in fact, all of this is up here. Why? Because when you get up here, none of these other things are affected anymore because you've mastered these things. Okay? This is what he believed. But isn't it ironic that these are the things that are under attack right now? Isn't it ironic? Is it ironic? Your self-actualization is a person's motivation to reach his or her full potential. As shown in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a person's basic needs must be met before self-actualization can be achieved. And if all of this is destroyed, none of this will happen. Morality, your creativity, you will not have any need to create anything because now they got you so afraid. You have no self-esteem. You don't feel like nobody loves you or wants you. You're not safe in your own home. Around you, your money is gone. You don't know how to, you don't have nowhere. Your breathing is affected. Physiologically, your food is gone. You're worried about everything. You don't sleep like you should. Your glandular system is messed up. Everything is wrong. So this is Nix 9 at the Bahnhof, my brother, my sister. Nix 9 at the Bahnhof. This up here is never going to happen. It's a pipe dream. Why? Because they've already ruined all of this. So where is the water? What happened to the water? Where did it go? Where did it go? Does anybody know? None of us know. None of us know where the water went. But we do know that they have the ability to fix it. We do know that. We do know that. That if it were an issue where they had to put on, the dog, as it were, and fix it, they could fix it. They could fix it. We know that. We just saw that. And we already knew that. I want to thank all of you all for hanging out with me this afternoon. I want to thank you guys. And yeah, it's been great. I'm glad that we're all in one accord and that we all see what's going down. And yes, we do, Janine. We live in an upside down world. Drops Family Garden. Lisa Hall is here. Hey, Lisa. Be Ready is here. Rage Against the Machine is here. Janine and Jesus Freak are here. I said Be Ready. I said True Helper. Robert, I said your name. I gotta say y'all's name. Northwestern Welshman, how are you? David, Robert, everybody. You guys that are even not that are here but not in the chat. I want to thank you guys for being here too. Listen, before we go, would you do me one gigantic favor, which is something that's free? Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. If you've liked it, hit the like button. If you don't like it, that's fine too. But I'd like it if you have liked it to please hit the like button. Steve Smith, we have free energy, just not letting it out. Well, you know what I think, Steve, to your point, Charlie Sigler, what I think to your point, Steve, is the fact that Tesla was really, hey, Steven Barker, how are you today? That Tesla, he had it going on with regards to Michael John. Thank you for your support. He had it going on where there's like, hey, look, we don't have to pay for any of this. We can just give it to everybody free. Whoa, get him out of here. They were like, get him out of here. Wild Child, how you doing today? They were like, get this guy out of here. Vlad, how are you? Marty. Yeah, they were like, get this guy out of here. Get rid of him. Make him a derelict. Make him gone. Steve Z. Yeah, get him out of here. We don't want him to be around. V636, how you doing? All right. Markham, how you doing? Good to see you. So you see what I'm saying? Useless knowledge, what's going on? All right. So you guys see what I'm saying. So I appreciate all of you all. Kabuki Theater, I love your name. That is too cute. Sandy Elliott, how are you? And anybody else that I have missed, please count it too. I did see Black Spring with Autumn that came in earlier. All right. Anybody that Daryl Calhoun, if I did not say your name, please count it to my head and not my heart. All right. DG, how you doing? All right. I don't want to miss anybody. Sherry tells, because you never know, avid researcher, you never know when it may be the last time you get to say somebody's name and to let them know how you feel. Just by greeting somebody, it can change a person's life. You guys, Brent Hill, I want you guys to make sure, Maureen Olson, that you guys stop and say hi. All you got to do, you see somebody, you don't know them, and they look a little down, just say hi to them. Just give them a little smile if you don't feel like they want to hear your voice. Okay? William, my crypto pie. All right? Just give them a little nod, child of God. Caleb Clemens, just shake your head at them, nod your head, and keep on going. Okay? You never know what you can do for somebody. You never know how you make somebody feel. That's something that's so free. It doesn't cost anything to just give somebody a smile and treat somebody with kindness. All right? All right, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. As you know, what we always say on any of the Felicia Lockhart publications, that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. You guys continue to take care of yourselves, and then you can take care of everybody else around you. Remember that if you're not okay, if mama and daddy not okay, ain't nobody else gonna be all right. Until we see each other again, please continue to be blessed. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Helping